Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. I am really excited about this video because we are going to be covering all of the information about my month-long cortisol cleanse. Now, I did want to preface this video by saying I am not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not telling anybody that this is the surefire way to lower their cortisol. It's more so an experiment that I'm doing for myself based on my own research and my own knowledge about how my body functions. But it is something that I wanted to share because I have just been experiencing a lot of chronic stress and it started to take a toll on me. And I think that it would be good to share my experience just in case there's anybody else out there that's looking for a more natural way to deal with their stress and their anxiety. So that is what I'm doing. I was really inspired to make this video because, like I said, I've just been experiencing chronic stress for the last couple months. And it's gotten to the point where I've experienced just like a cortisol overload and adrenal fatigue. And it's something that I really need to change because it's not healthy to be in that high stress state for as long as I've been. Cortisol is essentially the body's main stress hormone. So anytime that you experience stress, cortisol spikes. And in a healthy body, cortisol spikes and then it decreases. But when you experience chronic stress the way that I have, it essentially plateaus at some point. So instead of it spiking and coming back down, it's just always like a flat line. And so you always have more cortisol being pumped into your body than you should. That's my understanding of it anyways. Again, I'm not a doctor. Symptoms that you might experience when you have too much cortisol in the body include a puffy face, muscle weakness, lightheadedness. You are going to be very irritable. You're going to have a lot of salt cravings probably. And at some point you can also get rashes. And that's where I was at, where I was getting stress rashes on my back. Never in my life have I felt like I was, how do I put this? When I would get in these really triggered states, I just felt completely detached from my own brain. It was like a train with no brakes. And it just felt like I was getting to that point where part of my brain was just like ripping away from me, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so basically I've just reached this point where I'm really tired of having these mood swings and just feeling out of control of my emotions. I know that something needs to change, and that is what this plan is. It's me changing my lifestyle and my habits to better support myself during times where I experience stress and not trying to, suppress those feelings with foods that honestly are just going to exacerbate it. Habits that are just going to, in the long run, hurt me more. Something that I did want to mention, though, is that if you are experiencing this level of distress in your life, I would strongly advise you to seek professional help. I am not doing that personally just because I know my body and I know that there are certain things that help regulate my mood. But therapy is a really amazing tool. And if you're having a lot of difficulty in your life to the point where it's affecting your ability to regulate your mood, a therapist is probably a good place to start, just because you don't want to put more pressure on yourself to try to handle your mental health when it already feels like it's just too much. So even though I am going to be sharing this experience with you all, I don't know if it's going to work, but I know that I'm going to be okay regardless. If you feel like you are just in need of support and you need to change things right away, go to a therapist or a psychiatrist, seek professional help, because nothing is more important than your mental health. So just take care of yourself. Don't take my word for it that this is going to be like the end all be all to regulating your cortisol. So I'm just going to go over the different elements of this plan and what it all entails. The first piece of this is going to be sleep. I think it's really important to have a consistent sleep schedule just for anybody. It's not even about cortisol necessarily. It's more so that having a regular sleep schedule just helps regulate everything. So going to bed at the same time every night and trying to wake up at the same time every day, having a routine at night that helps to relax you and just gets you ready for bed, and then having a morning routine that allows you to wake up with a little more ease. I've gotten into the really bad habit of waking up right at 9 o'clock and I start work at 9:30, and that is not really a great way to start your morning. I realize that when I wake up and I have no time to myself in the morning, it's just you're immediately throwing yourself into a stressful situation, basically. I just want to make sure that I'm giving myself that time in the morning to ease into my day, let my brain wake up a little bit before I have coffee, let my brain wake up a little bit before I have to deal with professional stuff. So sleep is going to be the first part of this. The second element is exercise. It's not a secret that exercise is a really good mood regulator. For this plan specifically, I want to try to do 30 to 60 minutes each day, with a rest day somewhere in the week, and doing workouts that are not super high intensity. I want to keep it, pretty mild, I guess, in terms of intensity. So not doing HIIT workouts or anything like that, but doing light cardio, doing some weightlifting probably because that's what I enjoy. And then having some fun workouts in there as well, like pole practice and stuff. But trying to keep it moderately intense and just not overexerting my body, because when you push too hard, that can also increase the stress in your body. And just making sure that I cool down appropriately. That's not something that I've ever really incorporated in my workouts, is doing a cool down stretch or, maybe doing a little bit of yoga after lifting, just to make sure that my body is going through that natural flow of high activity to less activity, I guess. But just, really walking myself through that and making sure that I'm giving myself the best chance of regulating everything. The third piece of this plan is diet. I plan to go vegetarian for the next month. And the reason for this is that having a vegetarian diet can significantly lower cortisol. I've heard that it can lower your cortisol up to 25%. And that to me is going to be the biggest piece of this, is just having a very, very healthy diet, cutting out refined sugars, because spikes in glucose can also create spikes in cortisol, and just taking the time to nourish my body in a way that's actually going to give me the results that I want. Eating salty potato chips sounds like such a good idea when you're in that high stress place, but it doesn't help you. The salts honestly cause so many more problems than I even realized, and I just need a change in that department anyways. I haven't really been eating that well, and I think that going vegetarian for a little bit is going to help with a lot of things, but specifically the cortisol levels. With that diet comes a few things that I really want to make sure I keep up with. I really love celery juice. I was making it every morning at one point, but introducing green juice back into my diet I think will be really helpful. And it's so good for the body. It's a really powerful detoxifier, and it helps regulate your mood because it gives your body the support it needs to decrease inflammation. And I just think that it'll be a really good supplement to the diet plan. And I will also be abstaining from alcohol for the next month. I was just feeling like alcohol was really starting to exacerbate the stress that I was experiencing. Even though I would go out with friends and have an amazing time while I was with them, once I came home, after a certain number of drinks, I would just turn into, honestly, somebody that I didn't even recognize. So I am cutting out alcohol for the next month. Honestly, it might extend beyond that because it just isn't doing me any favors anymore. I just am tired of feeling bad. I'm tired of the hangovers, and we're just not going to be doing that. The next piece is supplements, and this is something that I'm a little hesitant to talk about just because supplements are extremely personal, in my opinion. I think that everybody should do their research. They should, look at interactions of certain supplements with medicines that you might be taking, or if you have certain autoimmune disorders or just chronic illnesses in general. Do your research before taking any supplements. I am going to talk about the supplements that I'll be taking, but I'm not going to say one way or another that you should absolutely take these supplements. I'm just going to explain why I'm taking them for this plan. So the first supplement that I will be taking and have honestly been taking for a really long time now is L-glutamine. L-glutamine is one of my favorite supplements because it essentially can help improve the quality of your sleep. I'm someone who has always kind of struggled with insomnia or just being a night owl, even though I don't really want to be. So L-glutamine is something that I take about 30 minutes before I think I'm ready to go to bed, and I do notice a difference on the days that I take it versus the days that I don't. I'm just able to fall asleep a lot faster with support from L-glutamine, and I tend to stay asleep throughout the night rather than waking up randomly at 3 a.m. The next supplement that I'm going to be taking, which is a new supplement for me, is Schisandra berry. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but Schisandra berry is known for turning down the overproduction of stress hormones like cortisol. This is the supplement that is specifically tied to lowering cortisol levels within this plan. So I am going to figure out how to work that into my supplement routine and just see if it does actually have an effect on my mood. This supplement is not for everybody. Again, I did a lot of research on what I should be taking and what I can't take. So if you have certain conditions, this might not be a very good option for you. Me personally, I can't take ashwagandha. It just doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. And it's supposedly a very great supplement for mood and, anxiety and cortisol, but I just can't take it. So do your research. Even though something seems very promising, you just don't know how it's actually going to react with you. So proceed with caution. The next supplement that I will be taking, and again have been taking for a very long time, is collagen. I have been taking it for fairly superficial reasons, but I think now that I will be following a vegetarian diet, I think that having this supplement will be really useful because it is a pure animal protein and it is something that has been linked to healthy brain function and everything. So I think that it'll be good to keep up with that and just give my brain a little bit of extra support during this time. And then the last two supplements that I'll be taking are vitamin D and lecithin. Lecithin. How do you say that? Vitamin D is really an essential vitamin that everyone should be getting enough of, whether that's from natural sources like the sun or food. Actually, I don't think humans can absorb vitamin D through the sun. But you know what I'm saying. Vitamin D is just a very crucial supplement for brain function. It also supports like healthy bones and things like that. So vitamin D is just kind of one of those that I do feel comfortable saying like everyone should be consuming vitamin D in some form or another. It is known to increase the availability of serotonin, which is the happy chemical, which is what we want. We just want to feel happy for the next month or, you know, longer. So vitamin D and then lecithin. The way that I have taken lecithin in the past is these little like granules, and you just mix them with drinks. I'm going to mix it with my celery juice. And lecithin has been known to have stress dampening effects. It's been used in treating mania, which is honestly what I would say I've been experiencing at times. So mostly all of these supplements that I'm taking are just aimed at different aspects of stress management and just healthy brain function. And last but not least, the final element of this plan is mindset. Over the course of the last few months, I have just come to realize that I have let go of my autonomy a little bit in terms of like acknowledging that I do have the ability to control my mood somewhat. I know myself, and I know that I tend to maybe play the victim sometimes, and I look to others to help me get out of that mindset instead of looking to myself and just being like, all right, girl, like, get it together. It's gonna be okay. So I want to start journaling more than I do now. I do like a little bit every day, but not like really in-depth journaling. So taking the time to write like where my mood is at every day and just keeping track of the things that are triggering me and what I could do to help kind of lessen those feelings of anxiety. And also just doing guided meditations, taking a little bit of time out of my day to either like do a little mood reset or like a mood check-in or like emotional check-in. So mindset is going to be a really big piece of this, of just not allowing myself to get so wrapped up in the negative, because to be totally honest, even though that's not who I want to be, that's just what happens sometimes. And giving myself the tools to self-regulate and better cope with the stress that I experience on a day-to-day. The stress is unavoidable, sadly, but there are things that we can do to overcome that. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on for the next month. Like I said, I don't know to what extent this is going to help, but I know that it is going to help somewhat, right? I think that having practices in your life that give you an upper hand in like regulating your emotions and just overall like body function is really important. And that is essentially what this plan is just doing what you can to support your body and your brain while you're going through things that might not be the most enjoyable. Obviously, environment is a huge piece of this. If you're in a really stressful and potentially dangerous environment, I don't think that this is the kind of plan that is just going to fix very serious problems like that. But I'm not in that position. You know, I'm actually in a very safe space and I have a lot of resources. I'm very fortunate in that way. And I think that honestly, what I've been experiencing is just a lack of accountability on my end. That's very personal to me. So, yeah, I am really looking forward to giving this a try. I feel very hopeful about it, and I'm excited to report back in a month and let you guys know how it's been going. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.